Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. It's Thursday night, March the 15th. These are the charts of the day. Well, historical day, Apple hit 600. The market hit multi-year highs. S&P crossed 1400. What a market. But, you know, good things always come to an end at some point. However, we'll keep playing it until we see that occur. Today, on the long side, TWER had an explosive move, popping a close at about 255 and opened around 285 and exploded to 378, closing just 8 cents off the high. And right in that resistance zone here, actually the high of the day at 378 was right at the August spike high. So, even though it may consolidate in this area, pull back, if it does get momentum to the upside, my next target is about 465.75. MEMS also had a strong session. You can see how it spiked and popped up to resistance and backed off to test the moving averages a week ago, and then has moved up steadily. Today it popped from 376 to 495 and closed right at the high for the day, up $1.17 to 31%. And look where that closed, right on the resistance line, going back to these highs up in here, and that goes back a little bit further too. Let's go. You can see all the way back in this zone here as a resistance zone. So if it does get through here, conceivably our next target's up around 8 1/4 or half. So keep an eye on this one as it could get crazy. But certainly, and certainly thin enough. Today's volume of 1.44 million was the biggest volume it's traded since it had a big block traded back in about a year and a half ago. So you can see that this one may very well have some upside momentum. Up next is PATH, P-A-T-H, which popped out of its base pattern today and crossed key resistance. That these lows and this high here, that was yesterday actually, sorry. And today it popped nicely and a full follow through after pulling back yesterday. It gapped up a little bit, started around the 405 area, went to 490, closing at 481, up 84 cents or 21%. And volume surge of more than 3/4 million shares, which is significant for that stock, the biggest volume in since August of 2011. Yeah, it's about 7 months or so. Key breakout here. There's going to be some resistance potentially up around 5 1/4, just above here. But conceivably we could see this have some momentum that carries it forward towards 7. AIXG is this international German-based firm, which rolled over hard and was on our short list in June of last year. It came all the way down from 39 down to 11. Then based out of the course of the last few months with spike highs here, here, and here, today gapped through all of that and started a new uptrend, jumping 280 or 17% on 781,000. That's the biggest volume since November. And we can very well see this stock make some more upside moves to perhaps 23, my next target. JVA, after a couple strong sessions, backed off for a couple days but held support, and today gapped up big time. If it should get above the 1464 area, look for another explosive move, which could take this as high as the 20 area. But we'll just have to see whether it's going to consolidate in here or break through or not. TravelCenters of America completed a nice base pattern today. Here's your left shoulder complex, the head and the right shoulder complex. And today, here's a neckline, which was broken with a thrust as the stock jumped from about 535 up to 601 and closed at 621, excuse me, closed at 608, up 15% or 78 cents on almost 2 million shares. But the significance of the pattern is that key initial resistance was taken out. I would look to test this old gap from May of 2011, which is up around the 680 area. That's going to be immediate. With secondary targets up near here, we'll set that around 8 3/4. ELLI continues its tremendous move of late, and ever since the coil was broken and the lateral price resistance was taken out, the stock accelerated. Got a few days here of consolidation and pullback, and it's coming on again, up $1.07 or 12%, 322,000 shares. Doesn't sound like a lot, but you'll see that significant volume for this stock. Now, if you look at the historical prices on this, you'll see this is new all-time high post-IPO territory, and we can see more upside short-term target around 11.5, 12. USG, our swing trade, is working out well. For the last 4 sessions, it's moved from 14.5 area. Let's just say in the last week and a half, it's moved from 13 to 17.5, and reaching 1756 just short of our 17.75, 18 target area. And if it gets in that area tomorrow, we may want to think about pulling it back or off, but we may very well see 19.5 before it actually peels back in that zone up here. We'll see what momentum does and how far it takes us. VECO, nice day too as well. This resistance zone was taken out with a pop as the stock moved through 2 layers of resistance here. We may very well have designs at 37, my next target. INVN, a fairly new issue, doing very well as well. You can see the channel target is calling for about 24 short term. And if we can take out the, well, if it takes out today's high tomorrow, which it very well might, even on the opening, we can see that run a little bit. GWRE with 2 consecutive sharp days up and then a pullback late yesterday, continued its advance today. However, yesterday's high at 32.85 and today's high at 32.91, similar levels, would perhaps have some resistance up in that area. If it gets to 32.90 with any kind of volume, I can see this getting towards 35 short term. HSTM broke out in a beautiful rising channel, and look at this thing, going back a year and a half. This pattern recently had the pop and then wedge, and today popped out of the wedge. $1.49 gain, 7%, 300,000 shares. And the way I've drawn this in, it looks to me like the top of the channel around 28 would be my target on a swing trade. TISA, which we discovered when it broke out recently here, and then pulled back, ran straight up from 280 to 420 just in the last week and a half, and is near my trading target of 440. This mobile payments processor, software developer, I should say, similar to MyTech, may have reached the top of its short-term channel. We'll just have to see what kind of momentum this has, or if it's broken through it, my target is now 6.25 once it does get through, if it gets through the 440.50 area. LVLT, another nice day for LVLT, up $1.67 or almost 7%, 6.75%, 5 million shares. And after yesterday's breakout of the flag, it gapped up this morning and ran and closed pennies off the high for the day, targeting 28. Solazyme, well, interesting. The way this stock broke out 2 weeks ago, then pulled back sharply, taking out our stops, but holding the trend lines and moving averages at 50 period moving average, accelerated and has begun up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row to break out above this resistance zone and may very well be headed towards 18, my short-term target. How about WPRT? With all the negative technicals, this stock continues to consolidate bullishly and move up. Today up 240 or 5.4% on 2.1 million. And it broke out of this entire pattern perhaps, headed towards 52.3 range. That looks like it. NQ continues its ascent after breaking out of the the channel base neckline, I should say here. And you can see how it's been up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. So maybe get a little bit overbought short term, but certainly a nice pattern. Love to see that pull back and retest for an entry op. TSPT, we'll see the action today. This is key. It came down to the trend line and below the 50 momentarily, and then exploded off of that level, going from 823 to 890 and closing at 884. That is a close above both of these lines, here and here. And with the volume increase, this could gap or run tomorrow. And I would target, for starters, a quick move towards the, if you can get above this line, that would be terrific. If you gap above 9.25 or so, it could fly tomorrow. Keep an eye on that. Targeting $12, everybody. MGM continues a beautiful pattern, which was a head and shoulders bottom, a breakout, a sharp run up that finally pulled back here and bullish flag. It broke out 2 days ago, backed off yesterday, and came on again, up 59 cents or 4%. 16 million traded today. I'm still looking for a move up towards $16 short term and secondary target of 18. And lastly today, ELGX, one of our top 20 for the year, broke out yesterday, had an inside day today, but a bullish one on lower volume. I'm still looking for this stock to make more upside strides and reach about 16.5, 17 eventually, maybe sometime in the next several sessions. And that's it for tonight and this week. You guys have a good weekend, and we'll talk to you guys on Monday night.